Okay, we're live. It's James Maduke speaking, trainingspace.io. I've got power today. Normally we do these on Wednesday. These are live, open question, ask me anything, Q&A sessions, anything having to do with start, build, and grow an education business. AI learning communities, and in fact, that's what I want to talk about today. If you came yesterday and I wasn't available, I apologize. We had a power outage here, maybe 25 minutes, 20 minutes before we were supposed to go live. It was missing in action for electricity. So I tried to go on for a couple of minutes, just streaming from my cell phone and the local data using up on my cell phone, and wasn't able to put through. So today we're on, and if anyone has any questions, please make sure to let me know. And again, this one wasn't publicized, so I don't know who's actually going to come on, but I will talk about a couple things that have come up just in the short term as there's some really, really cool stuff that's happening in the AI space, and it's happening very quickly. I did a video a couple minutes before coming on here today, and I'll talk about that, what was in it, and why I think it's kind of cool. And then also some questions about where I think all of this AI learning community stuff is coming together. The I think just in the snapshot here, like today, I see there's a couple people coming on right now. Again, if you do have any questions, make sure to put them in the chat and I'll answer them. And until I get some questions, I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the things I've just been observing in the last week in the AI space and how it's really going to affect us if we're building education businesses. And the first one I'm going to talk about, I'll bring up the screen right now so that we can see it. And let me just make sure I have a good screen for us. Yeah, so here's the one that I want you to kind of keep your just keep in your back pocket right now. Yesterday, if you haven't been playing around with Google and the Google Gemini app, Google is dropping a lot of stuff really, really quickly over this last month or last 2 weeks. And if you're not familiar, every year Google has, I think it's called Google I/O, and that's their big developer conference. And it's usually, I think, at the end of May, beginning of June. So I think it's on the 20th or something this year. So maybe 10 or 15 days from now. And it's my understanding that, anytime these web companies or these companies, tech companies have like a yearly developers conference, you want to bet that they've got something absolutely huge coming down the pipe. And if I look at the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks of stuff that Google has dropped in updates, it's coming fast and furious, and I think there's something else that's going to be here. And if you haven't seen some of the other videos that I've done, all in this space on AI Studio for Google with multimodal input with their AI tools, the labs where they have stuff about like text to video, and it's all starting to come together and being bundled directly right within the regular Google Workspace, like calendar and your email and sheets and drive. And in fact, right now, the one that I'm playing around with now is if you're in Google Gemini and you put at Gmail at the start of your prompt, you're interacting with your Gmail account. If you do at Sheets, you're working directly on and in your sheets and all of the data that's available in any of those sheets. So this kind of integration of stuff is all coming together. But the one that was flippy yesterday, and I got access to this morning, is this one right here, which is build rich interactive web apps with an updated Gemini 2.5 Pro. So you may be going saying, James, well, why does this even matter if I'm doing something directly in a learning campus or I'm got an education business? What are the things that means to me? So I did a video up this morning, and again, it'll be published later today, but just to show you what happens with this is I'm going to actually go and I just opened up here. I've got my Google Gemini account open and I'm in 2.5 Pro Experimental. And what I did with a single prompt as an example is, let me just open one up here, scroll a little bit. Again, this was just me playing around. I have no thorough experience with any of this stuff. It was just me kind of playing around and coming up with some examples of creating web apps that were interactive and easy to do. So the one that I did was, there we go. Here's a simple one that I did. I basically, with a prompt, just said, create an interactive web app that allows me to teach someone how to cook scrambled eggs. And again, this is a standalone web app, one single page, HTML page with nothing other than HTML, CSS for styling, and JavaScript. And it's basically a process that's being taught in an interactive web app. And you can see that it's me having to click and go through it and be able to show that I understand, or that if I want to follow the process, these are the things that I actually have to do. So there's just an example of a web app that I made with two prompts. So just start thinking about this. If we're creating courses on any topic, and we're already using ChatGPT to, or Claude, or any of these tools to basically, to basically teach something, is it worthwhile to actually create a traditional course, or is it something simple that I can create a web app for that teaches the exact same thing? Or where can I use these web apps instead of micro courses or mini courses or any of these tutorials that I put together? Again, these are pretty questions that are coming up and coming up quickly. And the one, just when I'm playing around with this in my head and trying to think how this all fits together, if I'm looking at this and I go, okay, well, I'm going to have to build an education business. Do I do something that's always been happening in the past, the way that everyone else has been doing it? Or do I have to position myself and my business and go, oh, wait a second, this is something that's going to be coming and I can't stop it. And it's not going to get worse and there's not going to be less of it. So, where am I going to position myself and put this all together? So, here's a situation where something got announced yesterday that can create stuff like a web app that teaches things that doesn't require a traditional learning management piece of software. It doesn't require a whole bunch of things that we kind of assumed that we would need to have. And I used an example in the video that I did this morning. I'll just talk about this and then we'll go back to the campus part. But um, the one that I did, and this was before, I did an example actually earlier. I did an example where I held my smartphone up and there's the multimodal. aistudio.google.com has a thing where you have a multimodal, and it was Flash 2.0 experimental. I'll try and put the link after this live stream so that you can see it. But that one was where you could basically have your screen capture or your webcam showing something to Gemini, interacting with it verbally, having it know what was in the image, what was on the screen, what video it was watching, and be able to interact with it. So now we have one where we have a web app that gets created just by a couple prompts, and we have this multimodal input in Gemini. So let's use that scrambled egg example again just for a second. So let's say, for example, I've got Gemini on my phone right now. So let me just hold it. I get Gemini on my phone. I walk to the fridge. I take a picture with Gemini and I'm talking to Gemini through my phone and I'm looking at what's available in the fridge for me. And I just say, hey, what can we make today? It's breakfast. I'm hungry for a big hearty breakfast. It looks in, it sees that we've got butter, eggs, we've got some milk, we've got all of these things, and it says, hey, it looks like you've got ingredients for eggs. Did you want to create scrambled eggs, or do you want to do scrambled eggs? And I just go, yeah, but I've never made them before. How do I make scrambled eggs? All of a sudden, up comes on the screen an interactive app, just like I created here, with a couple prompts, and I now have a step-by-step instructions on how to create scrambled eggs, and just going through knowing that it has the ingredients it saw in the fridge when I was looking through it, talking to it. So this is just one example. Start thinking about if you play guitar, if you play piano, if you're trying to do woodworking, if you're trying to do any kind of business skill where you have a video of someone or you have something else that you're seeing, or you just want to be able to learn how to do something like someone else. Create an interactive web app that guides me through the process or teaches me how. and it's going to actually create these things that actually go through and build it for us. So, one of the other ones I played with were, let's say, for example, you can make them interactive, right? Create a social media post. What's it for? It's for a live event. Where am I sending it? Facebook. What am I going to use for the caption? You get the idea. These web apps are things, again, came out yesterday. Just start thinking how quickly this is going to change again for all of us. So I wanted to show this to you. The video is coming out. Maybe I'll put it together or publish it this afternoon after this. But this is just like super, super exciting stuff that's happening. And as much as I would like to say, hey, just create a course and everything's going to be perfect for you, I don't think that's going to happen. It's changing too quickly. There are people who are still going to be creating courses, and I'm not saying don't create courses. I'm just saying make sure that the content that you create serves the purpose that you intended, and that you always consider, how can I use AI to leverage what I know and be able to deliver it to people in the way that they want to consume it, and apply it so that they get what it is that you're promising them. So let me see who else we got on here. Uh, let me see. Soha. Oh, hey, very well. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Soha Arana. Bonnie, welcome. Uh, they removed that feature due to privacy issues. Which one was that? Put in the in the chat, because I'm not available. Which one you were talking about? Again, if anyone has questions, please ask them. Stuff that you wanted to see or stuff that you didn't want to see. I had planned today to kind of go over my whole campus checklist on which way to set up or which way to actually host your learning campus. Give me a thumbs up if you want to be able to do that. I can certainly spend time on that. I did actually put together an interactive checklist, and it's funny. It's funny now. One of the things is I'm talking about these interactive demos, right? I had done this as a checklist earlier in the week so that I could do this for Wednesday when I was originally going to do this, and I was putting it together, and then this came out yesterday, and I'm going, well, I had a checklist to go from. How could I create a web app that does exactly the same thing? So I have a checklist I can give someone to download as a PDF, or I have my own interactive web app that does the exact same thing that I can get people engaged with in my community, in my campus. So I thought that was kind of cool to see what happens there with this whole space. If you let me see what else we got here. Okay, so here's one. I'm going to open this up. Again, if you do have any questions, please make sure to let me know. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, I'd love it if you go and actually take a look or join the trainingsites.io campus and community. We've got all of this great stuff here for you to take a look at. So while you're looking at that screen, and again, the courses that are there, this community and campus that you're seeing right now, this is built on WordPress with Fluent Community, Fluent CRM, Fluent Boards, and I'll show you the links to all this. So the community, the LMS, the CRM, the support desk, the project management, all the email marketing automations, everything is in this one site using WordPress. That is one way of going. There's other tools, for example, the one that comes up all the time is Kajabi. Is one. We're live. It's James Maduk speaking. We'll do this one. So, you have an example where you have an all-in-one software as a service platform that allows you to post your courses, do your email marketing, maybe host events and landing pages. I think they're starting to add community. There's that kind of software as a service. And then you have ones, for example, that is pretty popular. There's one called School right now that is more about community/courses. There's another one that is circle.so. And again, I'm going to better do circle, spell it correctly. One that has the ability to have a community and live sessions in it. So there's software as a service, hosted, which way you want to go. Again, totally up to you. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to go and I'll open up some of the other content that I did. And we'll do this one here. Just going to make sure that we have it in the same place. These ones are, I put together some prompts. There we go. These are the ones that was trying to figure out, for example, if I'm going to have some kind of checklist, or if I'm going to figure out which one to actually use, how do I actually pick which one is the important one? And of course, I'm trying to find the one that I wanted to do, and I can't find it. So just hang tight with me for a second. And that one was platform. I think we got platforms. There we go. Personal platform. Documents. Darn, this is frustrating. I had it right out yesterday. Let's see if I can find that one. There we go. Okay. So these are some of the ones that I put together, and I'll basically just show this to you so that you can go, and I'm going to make these available for download as well so that you'll be able to actually see it. There we go. So these were some documents, and again, these ones are available to you. I'll make them a little bit bigger so that you can see it. And this is basically a scoring system that allows you to kind of go through and figure it out. So the way that this works is, and actually before I go this, is there anyone that has any questions about this, or is there stuff that you wanted to see about the campus, or whether to pick a software as a service or as a WordPress one? If there's stuff that you want specifically covered, just make sure to add it there, and I'll do my best to cover it. But this is a checklist that I put together just so, first of all, people understand, should I use software as a service to build my education business and sell my courses and teach people, or should I do it on WordPress where it's kind of self-hosted? So here's that launchpad, or those ideas to go through when you're thinking about this. And again, these are available for download in the campus. So what I want you to do is read each variable below and write a score from 1 low, 5 to critical in the box, and put a star beside the top 3 scores. These are your deal breakers. These are the ones that have to happen. So be honest, okay? And then here's the ones that you kind of look. So it's control. Do you want to be in control of the software and the site and the data? Or do you want, are you okay if it's on someone else's platform where they're taking care of everything like this? And the example that I've used on a regular basis is the difference between, do I want to rent my house or rent space in an apartment or a penthouse somewhere that does pretty close to what I want, but I'm still renting? Or do I want to own the property and be able to do what I want on the property, build or expand or change where I'm living on the property? That's really that whole issue of having control. So you would just put a 1 or a 5 there. If that's really important to you, it's a 5. If it's not important, it's a 1. If it's in the middle, it's a 3. And then a DIY load. So tech lift, it's like, how much do you want to be involved personally in making sure that stuff is running? Do you just want to go and say, hey, send the email, create a landing page, create my content? Do I want to be involved in doing all that? How fast do you need to launch? A lot of times when people putting courses together and stuff, it was always about, um, I'm going to put my syllabus. I remember the first courses we did, it was like a couple months to create a course. Now you can create a course in a day, basically, if you wanted to, and then launch it in the same day that you created it. If you get used to using AI, leveraging some prompts, some processes you've learned in the last little while, putting a course together is pretty quickly. Putting a campus and an entire education business together can still take a little bit of time, but how quickly do you need to have it happen? So market 1 to 5. How much do you want to pay, or how much can you manage or cash flow? What do you have available for this? Is it something that you can throw a whole bunch of money at it first and just get it done? Do you have a monthly payment amount that you're able to afford? learning experience depth. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to be teaching something, what does that learning experience have to be like? Is it a very basic course? Are you providing certifications? Do you have multiple teachers or multiple instructors? Are there live assignments that have to be in and graded? Or is it just, here's my content, here's some videos? What's the depth of that? Community engagement. Do you need to have group spaces, private chats, live events directly within? What about marketing? Are you doing social media marketing? Do you have a CRM to keep track of your leads and or customers and your community, being able to interact with email, have customer profiles, take payments? Do you want it to be available so that it connects to all sorts of the other tools that you may be using? And is it future proof? Is it something that's going to become redundant with all of the AI stuff? Or is there an exit strategy where you're going, hey, you know what? I want to build this up and hand it off to someone. So those are kind of 10 things or 9 things you should go through and kind of rate, because at the end of the day, how you look at these things are the ones that are going to determine, should I do software as a service or should I do something like a WordPress? So hello, Marie. How are you? Yeah, so Marie, I think it was you actually that was on the community, right, talking about the platforms. So hopefully, let me just go and double check here and go back to the site. I'm pretty sure it was you, Marie. And if it, yeah, there we go. Launchpad out. Okay, perfect. Thanks for coming on. So, yeah, that's the part here. We'll just move myself back to the corner again. Um, Yeah, so hopefully this will be able to help you out. So help me through there. 3 choices: Podia, PayHip, or LearnDash. Okay, good, wonderful. So yeah, so that checklist, and I'll make sure you get the updated version after this. So kind of the idea there is like, am I going to do it? You've got 2 there that are software as a service, and you've got 1 that is LearnDash. So these are the things you got to kind of try and figure out, right? You're going to have to go through that and say, which is the one that's important to me? Which are the ones that I want to spend time on? Which are the ones that, are important for me to actually load up? And let me see if I can get my screen showing up here. Got a little bit of a slowdown on the computer as I have some other videos that are being moved in the background. Hopefully I still have a feed here. Here we go. Let's try this now. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah. So you're gonna have to go and figure out, Marie, like 1 to 5 in those ones, and then at the end of it, you're gonna kind of figure out here. Okay, map your scores to the campus map. So, um, which one actually, these first ones, tools, self-hosted or whatever. So you're going to look and see if you had control, the do load and speed. If you're focusing on that one, that's where, that's where these ones play in. The building, do I want to have control of it? Be able to do stuff like backups. So there's the 10 pieces of my campus map. And these are the ones where those 9 pieces kind of come together. And from there, you're going to be able to see, okay, hey, I'm a software as a service person. I'm a hosted person. And I'll give you my kind of personal thing on it, but you're going to have to decide for yourself moving forward, of course. My personal thing is I like owning, and that's why I chose or selected to use WordPress and have my own personally branded campus. That's why I ended up using this one. Circle almost looks identical to this. Um, Circle is a software as a service that does pretty well the same thing as this, and it excels at doing community and groups. It's not the greatest for courses. It doesn't do anything close to what LearnDash does, but LearnDash doesn't have any community. Um, things like, for me, taking payments. If you are only selling a community membership, software as a service like Circle might be great. But if you are selling additional products and services, like you're selling coaching one off, like you're selling any kind of digital products, whether they be ebooks or checklists or templates, or you're selling physical merchandise or books or things. Having one system set up like Circle that isn't set up for that means you have to have another piece of software or another service, and then you're getting into doing all the integrations with stuff. For me personally, I'm okay technically, I'm comfortable with that. So I went and I kept everything in LearnDash. And the one thing that I learned personally, unfortunately, is that the hardest part of doing all of this online stuff is trying to keep it easy for the customer so that they can go to one place with one login and not have to go and try and figure out, oh, I went to the help desk. That's over on Help Scout or Fresh Desk. So I have one login for there. And then I have my billing system, which is, Samcart or Thrivecart or whatever a particular platform is. And I have one login for there with my purchases. And then I have one site for my community, and I have one site for my courses. And if you're going to be doing any volume where you're having a lot of customers or want a lot of customers, trying to keep that all in sync, you'll find that a lot of the support calls and trouble that you have are just getting people to access stuff and knowing where it is, and also being able to get landed in the right place. So, if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's like, do I want to use WordPress with a stack of tools that I know work together? Or do I want to go and use something like a Kajabi that has most of those pieces, or even a Go High Level now, which has most of these pieces put together, and that's like a standalone service? And just understand that if you use Kajabi or Go High Level and something changes there, you don't have any choice. That's their platform, you're renting space on them. If you have WordPress and you're looking at it and you go, hey, I don't like this, what are my other options? Okay, I'll take a look at those and we'll plug it in to use it. So, start thinking a little longer term. How many courses do you have? How technical do you want to be? What other products and services are you buying? So there's a lot of kind of pieces that are in play there. And if you're just starting out, you're not technically inclined, and you don't know exactly what you're doing, you're kind of just testing stuff, it might be easier for you to go and try one of those other platforms and just get some feedback on it. And if you're going to do that, anytime you're using another person's or another platform software as a service, the thing that I would do differently is I would only sell one-off purchases to start off with. Now, why do I say that? If you have a one-off purchase, it's far easier to transition or move someone to another platform, whether that be another software as a service or your own WordPress site. It's easy if it's one-time purchases. You can do an export and import. However, if you have monthly recurring billing, I've not seen it done in an elegant way. And if you're relying on 10 people, 100 people, 250 people, 25 people that are doing recurring billing, and it's done automatically by the platform that you're on, and you go, hey, sorry, I moved all my billing over. Can you come over and redo your purchase over here and get it working again? Um, it's I've not seen it go smoothly anywhere. So if you're thinking about getting started, I would, pick one, quickly get it started. If you only have one product, one course, try and get some stuff up quickly, see if the feedback is, see if you're in the right space, see what you like and don't like with the platform, and then kind of think about, okay, what do I need to do long term? But give yourself a little bit of runway to get started. And I think in getting feedback from customers is more important than having to decide on the perfect platform when you're getting started. So I think I think all of these things are important, but the one for me is, you're just starting out, is how quickly can I get this all done and up and running so I can figure out what is it that people actually want. And I've mentioned this before. A lot of times, the most times what I see is that the instructor or the teacher, the person with the education business, and I do this, I struggle with it personally. You just ask yourself, if you want, when you create a course, a lot of people create a course for themselves and then try and sell it. and they build the course answering the questions that they have, not the course that answers the questions that the customers have in the way that they want it delivered. So if you can make a whole bunch of mistakes up front on any kind of platform, maybe starting off with a software as a service or even a WordPress site. If you can set up a WordPress site, it's pretty simple now to basically get a community put together and courses just by doing something simple, for example, with Fluent Community. So just pick one, get started, put some content up, see if you can charge for it, and get some feedback from people. The only thing I'd avoid is don't get involved in subscriptions at the start, especially when you're just starting out. It can be really, really, really cumbersome doing that. I did put a list together of, let me see if I can find that one here. I put a list together of a whole bunch of different platforms for WordPress. We can go over those ones if you want. Give me a thumbs up if you want to see them. And then also, I also have some ones for, where's the one that I'm just going to open this one up here. Tool selector. Yeah, I actually have a spreadsheet for this, for the calculator, a couple other things. Let's see if I can do this one. Campo, there we go. Yeah, so let me just do this one. I'll open this up so that you can see this one here, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. Again, this is another one that I put together, kind of some different stacks that are here. And these are the ones, yeah, so this one here, here's some stacks or tools for if you're going to be doing something in the software as a service kind of space here. So here's an all-in-one systems here. Can I make this any bit bigger for you? And again, I'll make this available. So for all-in-one, if you want to focus on the learning management software part of it, there's Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, Kartra, and Podia are ones that you'll run into. So those are kind of 5 common ones or popular ones. There are more. I'm not saying there aren't more, but those are kind of 5 that you kind of figure out, where do I want to fit this in? What kind of budget do I have? How am I limited? How am I not limited? And the reason that I put these here is if you look, there's LMS first. So if you're all about courses, you might want to look at these 5. If you're all about community, you might want to look at School or Circle or Heartbeat, which I have clients on, and Mighty Networks. Those ones have a big focus on community. They kind of do courses, for example, but they aren't focused on courses. So these ones are on community. And then there's other ones that are marketing and CRM. They can kind of do courses. They kind of do community, but they're really good at landing pages and CRM as an example. So you have ones like Keep, Go High Level, Active Campaign, System.io, and then events and live delivery. Now I put events and live delivery. Some of them do it really well, like Circle is great for live events now. Heartbeat is great for live events. My personal belief in this whole education space is that live events and teaching online, I think that's going to be more important than people recognize. And people are going to come back to it because they're going to need some one-on-one help playing around with this. So those are kind of some stacks or tools for software as a service. And those ones you can kind of rate based on that checklist that we did in the first part. Which one's important, which one's not. When it comes to the WordPress piece of things, and just while I'm doing this, who do you think did the checklist here? Yeah, not me. This was this was done by ChatGPT 03, the thinking model. It created the PDFs, and in fact, it actually asked for um, my brand kit, my logos, and everything to put it together. Uh, Basically, put it together and just spit it out for me. So that's the other thing that's happening too. A lot of the documentation and things we don't have to create it ourselves. We're here. So WordPress toolkit, Fluent Community, Buddy Boss, Ultimate Member, Paid Membership Pro, and MemberPress. Those are plugins that are focused on community and variations and of community or membership. So for course delivery, there's LearnDash, Lifter, Tutor, and also Fluent Community I put in there because they have a basic LMS that is inside there. And that's one of the reasons I like the Fluent community is the Fluent community does community membership. It does basic course delivery. And then for CRM and marketing directly in WordPress, there's Fluent CRM and another one I've used in the past called Groundhog, which is another great tool. So, if I look at WordPress from my perspective, its community is Fluent Community. I've got Fluent Community for courses. I've got Fluent Community or Fluent CRM for the customer relationship management and the email marketing and automation. And then I'm using Modern Events Calendar, and the Events Calendar is another one that do all of the live events. And then I've got WooCommerce for taking payments and selling products and services. So there's kind of two stacks there. Again, if you have questions on those ones or ones I didn't mention, just make sure to ask me and I'll see if we can actually put that together and go from there. I did a whole bunch of videos this morning, and what's happening is my hard disk space was getting filled up, and it looks like uh, what I'm missing here is some of the actual video pieces are not coming up. So hopefully I'll be able to see if we can get that in together. Let me see if we got any more chats here. Any more of the questions on there? We got perfect. Okay, yeah. So let me know if there's any questions. Give me a thumbs up. Stuff you want to see, stuff you don't want to see. At the end of the day, if you are going to treat this as an education business, you're going to have some kind of learning community or campus. Courses are not enough. Um, they may have been in the past. Multiple courses might have been great. A simple membership site or access to bundles of courses might be stuff that you are thinking about. My With all of the AI stuff that's coming out quickly and the stuff that I just showed you at the start, where we're actually able to create web apps now, there's going to be a lot of questions about this from people you're trying to teach, and they're going to want it to be personalized. And to have a static course, I'm I personally wouldn't focus as much on that this second time around. I would try and make sure that I have content organized in a structured way and curated in a structured way as a traditional course to supplement other things that I'm doing, whether that be doing YouTube videos or live webinars or live events or coaching, but be able to use the content as part of the teaching process. But to just say, look, I'm going to have a course and I'm going to sell a course, I have seen very few people be successful doing that unless they had an existing customer base that was already asking for the course that was pre-sold on the content and whatever kind of community or work that you were doing with them previously. But a standalone course, I kind of harp on it on a regular basis. The reason is that I don't think you can create a business anymore with just courses. It's got to be a lot more than courses. So, that's kind of the headspace that I'm in. If I were you and I'm just starting out, please just think a little bit bigger than a course and start paying attention to AI and its ability to create content as fast as we possibly need it or can need it. I was joking this morning that one of the customers that I started working with when we did all of this AI stuff at the start, it was about, you used a prompt and we were really excited if you could create a blog post with a prompt. And now, this morning we're looking at how can we create a web app with a paragraph request and actually have a web app available for us. So that's been in the last 18 months or 12 months. If it's the end of 2025, if it's the beginning of 2026, and you're looking at this and saying, if I create a course now, I'm going to be able to sell it for the rest of my life. No, it's not going to happen. I think now, based on the ability to create authentic content that is specific enough to answer problems and challenges that people are having, you can create courses with very little input from yourself other than understanding how to prompt it and organize it in a way that you've experienced that you want to teach it in. The actual language, the syllabuses, the content, now the web apps. You can even go and create infographics and graphics, just using something like ChatGPT. So think bigger than the course. Think more around the community and getting people engaged and actually applying all of that stuff that you have in your head. Let me see if we back there. Yeah, we got a couple more stuff there. So any other questions on that stuff going on? Give me a question in there. I'll do my best to answer it. I will actually put together a little bit of a mini lesson slash place where you can go, and I'll explain how to use these little checklists. Are they perfect? No, not at all. Will it guide you for it? Yeah. Will you maybe have to try a couple of them and play around with them? Yeah. And it has to do with, long-term goals and I think personally the technical aspects of what you really want to focus on or not focus on. So what else we got there? Anything else that I can show you or you want to cover? Again, these are things all about starting, building, growing an education business and having some fun. Um, I have done a couple other videos. I'm just going to talk about this briefly because it's one thing I did earlier in the week, this week, and I was talking about emails. And when I think about emails, like I'm old school digital marketing stuff, and it's always been my personal belief, and it still is today, that emails are gold. Emails are a way for you to reach into someone's space and be able to interact with people. And if you have someone's email address, you have that direct bridge to people. Now, how warm you keep that bridge, or how narrow or how wide, or how long you actually have that bridge that doesn't need repair, you've got an asset there. And any of these things where you're doing with courses and or community, I think the big goal not only is to educate people, but to build a relationship that you can leverage over time with their asset, which is an email address. Now, some people are a little bit younger, might look at, and again, depends on the market you're in, but some people may go, email, why don't we just use an instant message or something like that? Yeah, it's another way of doing it. I think the value of email from a business perspective is the amount of content that can be used in an email message is fundamentally different than any kind of direct message or instant messaging tool. So that's why I'm a big fan of email and community, and making sure that you use a freemium model when you're building out your campus, your community, getting people in exchange for an email address. So it's not necessarily about doing a landing page to sell a course. It's like, hey, how do I get people into my community? How do I get people who are in an audience, a broad audience, whether that be social media platforms or YouTube? How do I get them from there into my community in exchange for their email address, so that we can kind of build out, educate each other as to what it is that we need and want to be able to get some kind of outcome. So build email addresses and get email addresses. And that's why I've been playing around with web apps and the Google stuff and some of the other tools now for vibe coding. If you haven't heard that before, that ability, yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Started on Kajabi, went to Circle, and now finding out about it through your community videos. Yeah, happy being on Fluent Community. Um, we'll come to that in a second. The one thing is the applications. You're going to see a whole bunch of applications come out in the next month or two from people who are just like me, who are creating applications just by talking to apps. So, and again, I've done this on a couple other videos. I'll do it. I'll just show you briefly some of the stuff that I'm creating and why I'm creating it on email addresses. And you can see I have 7,000 tabs here, which is another story, but what one did I do that on? I put a list of these together in the video, and I'm just trying to think of the one that it was V.0. Oh yeah, Lovable. Lovable is the one I was using. So there's one on Lovable and an application that I'm basically creating right here. Hopefully it spins up. If you see this, this was just all done with vibe coding. So basically me prompting on the left-hand side, and I built an application that allows me, I did this selfishly, but every time I do a YouTube video, I wanted to have a system that would send an email out with an AI generated synopsis of the video and the transcription to all of my subscribers, so I didn't have to do it manually or do an automation for doing it. And I thought, hey, this is something that I can also sell to you, for example, if you are doing YouTube videos. And I have a whole series of apps around this, which I'll get to in a second. But the reason I did this is because if someone is going to get these newsletters, I need their email address. And if someone is part of my email list and community, I can now introduce all the other pieces of my business to them instead of having to place ads or do social media posts about a landing page for one separate piece. So these apps, I did one here for, YouTube playlists. There's thousands and thousands of ideas that you can create apps now with, and that can be a learning management app, can be a course app. The other one that I showed a couple weeks ago was I had one that someone could put a playlist in, and it will actually create a course based on the playlist and the question that someone had. So that was one where the learner says, hey, I want to learn how to do a podcast. And here's 5 YouTube playlists of people that I follow on YouTube. What I want you to do is take the transcriptions and create a course for me to take. And AI spits out the course based on the YouTube videos that are publicly available. The reason I did this app that I'm talking about here is I can also turn YouTube video playlists into custom personalized online courses. See what I'm going at with this? So this is just an example of an app. We've got these campuses and these tools and an email address. We're going to have an ability for this whole branded campus and all of our expertise using applications and a place to go and share. That's the really cool part and exciting part. So that's just kind of think of that in the background as you're thinking about, how am I going to build this as a business? Is it just courses? Is it me teaching? Is it my ecosystem that I want to have with my brand and my business? And the cool thing for us now is that can be you, one person, right? It doesn't have to be a big team. I have members that VAs or people that work on contract with us on the agency side. And unfortunately, a lot of the tasks that they were doing before are ones that a simple AI prompt and or automation will actually do some of the things that these people were doing. So there's some upskilling required to do bigger things, but people are coming along, they're going to learn how to do it. And you don't have to be a huge company anymore to have your own ecosystem with your own brand and in your own stuff. So one of the questions here that was kind of cool was, and if I pronounce your name incorrect, I think it's if it's Louis or I'm in Canada, so sometimes it's Louis. I'm not really sure, so I apologize if I'm butchering it. Yeah, so you started on Kajabi, you went to Circle, and now after finding out about through your community videos, I'm very happy being on Fluent Community. So, here's a situation where you're moving back and forth through all these various platforms and trying to figure out which is the best one for me. How does it fit into my business? Which one am I spending time in that does the most for me as it applies to the purpose of your course and the purpose of what you're trying to do? And if you haven't already, I do have the campus map course. So please go and use or take some time to go through that actual course, because this course, this one here, the middle one, number 2, number 3, and one, 2, 3, and 4. Like, what is the purpose of the business? What is it that you want to get out of it? As a business, not I want to teach someone something. It's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to have a big business? Do I want a small business? Do I want to teach someone and a whole bunch of people at once, or do I want to work more intimately with other people? Because these getting started ones have a big impact on whether you're going to use Kajabi or Circle or Fluent Community and all of those additional pieces. And I do find that you end up moving between some of them. That's why, when I, excuse me, showed you that little checklist of all the names, every single one of those platforms that I mentioned, I have used personally on the WordPress side. and even on the software as a service side. I do have accounts at Circle. I do have Go High Level ones. I Infusionsoft, which used to be Keep, are ones that were kind of there. Um, yeah, so there's moving around. Some are great at something. You like ones for do one thing. You like things that do another things. You're going to have to play around, unfortunately, but keep in mind, what's the purpose of the business? Who am I helping? What kind of help do they need? How many am I helping? That's the other thing that's kind of cool with all of this stuff in the AI space as well and the community space. Sorry, just going to get a little fluid in me here. In the community space, the one thing that I'm finding is that when I first started creating courses, the courses were $97. Then they went to 77, and then they went down to 47. And now you'll find courses for $17 or $27 for kind of smaller or micro courses. And I personally believe that that low end offer now is not necessarily a sustainable kind of business model, because if you just think about it, $27 for a course, um, how many customers do you need to actually start making some good money from that if you're treating it as a business? And how many different courses do you need to have at that price to actually expand or scale the business? With all of the stuff that's happening with AI and the people's ability to create their own course content, when you get blended teaching or blended learning where you're involved as part of the teaching, the price level's coming up. And the ability to charge a higher amount but to fewer people changes the business structure, right? And if you're selling fewer people and you're doing it for a higher price, what is the experience that those people are expecting versus someone that's buying a $27 course and just wants to know where are the lessons in the videos? So for me personally, like you mentioned, Marie, the stack of Fluent tools. Yeah, so on mine specifically, I'll actually, we'll just actually go here too. I'll go to the back end so you can actually see some of the pieces there that are on the site. Let me just, here, actually, I'll do it from here. We'll do it actually from the front end. Uh, There's actually the back end, so you can see some of the tools that I have here. And I'll show you from the front end first so that you can actually see it, and then we'll kind of go through it. And this is the Fluent stack. I use a Fluent stack. I really like it because they're all tightly integrated with each other. But for me personally, if I take a look at what I'm doing here in this space, this is Fluent Community. And Fluent Community has as many spaces as I want. And those spaces are ones that, for example, are tools and resources, which is just like a Facebook group or a circle space put together. I don't know why it's asking that one all the time, but we'll get rid of it. And again, we can put that through. That's built into Fluent Community. I also have as many courses as I want, and the courses are very simple right now. They are expanding on it, but these ones are basically being able to put a video in and some simple lessons that go through it and some times and have a discussion on it. So there's no quizzes yet. There's no assignments. There's no sub lessons or topics. This stuff is all pretty straightforward, ready to go. So Fluent Community does the spaces, the members, and the courses, and pretty set out. Now, if I go and take a look at this, I've got my Facebook group, but I've also got another piece here, which is Fluent Booking. And Fluent Booking is a WordPress plugin that allows you at any time to spend 15 minutes to half an hour with me by just going and saying, hey, I want to book some time on Tuesday of next week at 10:30. And what happens with this one is Fluent Booking allows you to book a time on your calendar and my calendar. It adds you to the community, it adds you to the CRM, and it starts an email marketing campaign based on the fact that you've now entered the ecosystem. Now, not only does it do that, it also sets you up as an affiliate and gets you already created in all of the public spaces and a free membership that's in the community. So there's a booking system that's here. Sometimes people may use Calendly as an example, which I used for a long time, works really, really well. But then you have to start manually integrating. I've got Calendly. Do I send my thing to Zapier and then Zapier sends it to my Kajabi one? Or do I start kind of integrating and throwing stuff together, right? So Fluent Booking is there. That one is built in directly into the campus that I have. The other is we have a leaderboard, so there's some basic gamification in here. They haven't done too much in it. I haven't played around with it. Excuse me. The other one that's here is, just to show you, is if someone comes here and they want some support, let's say technical support or billing support, I have Fluent Support is included in this stack of tools, and I'm only someone that's here. So let me just do another tab just so you can see it. So I have a complete help desk system that's in here now for me. See if I can make sure that I got logged in. And if someone opens up a ticket and they're not a member of the community, they're automatically now a member of the community. They're automatically on an email system in the CRM that's related to having, do I got a live one here? Don't know if I can get this in. Don't know if that one will work. I'll try it in another screen so that we're able to do that. Actually, let's do this one. I think it's here. Just so you can see it. Because there's actually another one here that's a Fluent one. So let's click the login. And just while that's waiting to load, the other cool thing that's kind of neat here is when you think about it is that you're in a situation now where you've got a campus, everything is in one place, and we're logged in. So let's say I need support. So if you need support, we're here. I'm now in the customer portal for support. I can go and add tickets. And all of my tickets are in Fluent Support. So anytime someone does a support ticket, they're added into the CRM, they're added into the community, they're added into the affiliate program, and everything is interconnected now. So it's not all of these kind of pieces kind of playing together. And this is done, the help desk system also has the words left me, but it's integrated email. So once a ticket is opened, someone can reply directly to the email and it will update the ticket. So you can just go back and forth with email after the ticket is created. And there's always a history of it. So if one of you guys open a ticket and I now go to Fluent Community to check on the CRM, it's going to show me all of the tickets that you've put together, whether they be ones that are open or closed, but I can click it in the CRM and be brought exactly to your contact record in the help desk. The other one that's here is we also have Fluent Boards. Fluent Boards is a simple project management tool. And in this case, I don't know if I have any boards available for me here. Yeah. So we've now got and let's make sure my screen comes up. Again, we're a little bit slow on this one. Oh, it didn't go to the support desk. My apologies. Okay, we'll go back to the support test so you can see it. So here's one here where we've got Fluent Boards, which is open. And this is either a list or a Kanban board as an example. So I can go and take a look at what's happening, what's not happening. And this is a basic project management tool that I can go look at. I have my dashboard because I'm logged in as me, but I can go and take a look at any of the marketing ones that I'm assigned to and go through and see what's open, in progress, or completed, and then go and take a look at dates, priorities, all of that stuff that is all available. And myself and my team can work on this. So that's Fluent Boards. And these can be simple projects, which is what I use, or even some complex projects where you're starting to track times. You can do multiple people. Actually, on some of the agency ones or the mentoring kind of customers that we actually create a board for everyone so that we can all work on projects together, which is kind of a cool thing. The other one, I'll go back to support because I don't think it showed up on the screen so that you see it when I was doing that. The support desk system, yeah, there we go, customer portal. So for me as a user, I can go and create a new ticket, basically put the information in, any managed web hosting, normal, we'll put medium, and then basically create the ticket. So that goes into the help desk and we're all set and put together there. And at any time, I can go back and take a look at all my tickets, see which ones are open and which ones are not. So any questions about that? If you have a bundle for Fluent Community and Fluent CRM, I do have, actually, I do have developer licenses and I do have licenses available for a stack like that. And if you are watching this and you want to look at, I do have a package that isn't public for, uh, I have my own hosting servers as well. So in the agency side. So if you do want a campus set up, I do have a standalone package for that where it's a one-time setup fee and then a monthly fee for the hosting if you want and or need it. But it's for the support services and all the licenses that can be done for you as well, which is the whole Fluent stack because we have developer licenses for it. And yeah, you can go and buy a couple bundles that are there. I've been actually on the beta test one for Fluent right since the beginning when they first started with these. Very, very well done, professional, and I quite like them and have been using their products for a long, long time. Did you want to see, give me a thumbs up if you want to see what was actually on the back end so that you can see how that fits together. I will actually show you one more thing that I think is important in this whole branded campus one, is that if I go and I take a look, let me just open up a Facebook one here. Don't know if I'll make sure that you actually get to see this in a second. So let's say I go to my Facebook account. I'm just opening this in the background right now, just changing a screen. But if I go to my Facebook account and I start playing around with Facebook here and I take a look at, I've got my live stream running here, which we're just doing. But if I go to my posts, for me, my personal posts, and I take a look at them, you're going to see that I do have on the right-hand side here, there's a number of posts that show up in Facebook on a regular basis. Now, the thing is, with all of these particular posts, these social media posts, I did not personally do any of them. The way that I have this campus set up, and this is what I'm talking about, an integrated system and being able to do stuff on your own. The way that I have this set up is that the very second that I post an event and or I post a something in the campus on one of the courses or tutorials, it automatically posts to social media for me. So anytime that I'm kind of creating content, it's kind of hands off, like get it posted on my behalf, and it's actually doing it for me. And that's a tool called BitSocial, which I have, which works directly right within WordPress, which is kind of cool. So let's take a look here and see if we got questions. Yeah, I don't need you. I don't think you need LearnDash if you go with Fluent Community. I see that Fluent Community is currently on sale. Yes, it is. Now, I'm going to talk about this for a second, and thanks for bringing it up. One of the things that I always, I have 40 some courses in LearnDash right now. Actually, on the site, it's turned off, but I have 40 some courses with LearnDash. And again, I was been using LearnDash since 2016, I think I started using it, or 2017. And I have tons of clients using LearnDash. The type of clients that I have learning using LearnDash, though, are now different than the ones that are using Fluent Community. And what I mean by that, the only time that I recommend having LearnDash or Lifter LMS or many instances Tutor LMS are if you need to have complex quizzes attached to the content and or assignments and or certification. And you need very, very structured courses where you need to have this course first, this course second. You need to bundle them in groups or having some kind of learning path that is all set in stone. Then I would use a proper LMS. And I think Thinkific does that, Teachable does that. I'm not sure that Kajabi gets that structured on it, but those other kind of softwares as a service that are more LMS focused, yeah, if you're doing certification, you can't do that in Fluent Community. Fluent Community does courses, course, lesson, 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 lesson right now. That's all that it does. And for me personally, in this whole space, after being, selling courses online for a long, long time, it's very difficult to get people to actually complete a structured course unless they're forced to, and or the way that the content is presented to them ends up just being a video for the most part and reference materials, not all sorts of heavy text and quizzes. So I think a lot of people are kind of just give me those little micro single answer, single question, single answer. Kind of, they're looking for that atomic answer where it's just very, very tiny. And Fluent Community is good at throwing as many courses up as often as you want about specific questions and pieces. So yeah, that's a Fluent Community is again very simple one, easy to use. If you have multiple instructors, I don't think it's the best thing. If you're using assignments, certifications, you can't use it at this point. Okay. Yeah, I would like quizzes, but not bothered about certification, etc. Fluent, yes, they are. There's actually a VIP group at Fluent, which I'm a member of, and that is one of the things that I know will be, I think, out in the next couple months. So they will be adding simple quizzes. The other thing that's cool now is if you want to do a simple quiz, and it's not a quiz that people are getting marked on, you can just go to Google now as an example and just say, hey, I want to have a quiz. I want to go and have a quiz, do a quiz. The one that I did as an example, which was that other one. Let me just pull this one up that I did, which is a quiz type. In LearnDash, there's 8 or 9 different quiz types that are available. Um, Getting slow on disk space. I'll clean that up in a second. This is where all those videos were. I'm looking for the one that was interactive, sorry. I had one that was an interactive drag and drop one. Sorry, I can't find it here. But it was one basically that there was just a list of things and you had to kind of drag and drop which ones you wanted and didn't want to get rid of them. I'm going to see if I can delete some videos here that I was actually working on just in the background so I don't run out of space completely here. And let's delete this one. I'm just deleting some pictures in the background here, or some videos. I will delete those ones. Move into the trash. There we go. They're in the trash and I'm going to empty my trash. Hopefully that'll give me I got the little warning that I got stuff in the hard drive that's filling everything up. So hopefully that'll clean that up for me while we're doing that and come back to the screen. There we go. Okay, disk space low. Yeah, so any other questions here? What else do we got? Yeah, how long have I been going? Hour and 8 minutes. Holy mackerel. It's 10 after 2. If there's any last questions, I think I'll stop there. Got lots of other stuff on the go today. I will have a video out just on the new Gemini 2.5 that I shared at the start. Web apps, they're coming. They're going to come quickly and we're all going to have to keep up with it. I'm, and as much as I love making courses, I think teaching web apps, all of this AI stuff is fundamentally changing everything for everyone. And I'm both excited and overwhelmed on how things are changing quickly. If there is a stack of tools that you're comfortable with, stay with them. Try and not get down as many rabbit holes as you want, but stay focused on those things that I've been talking about in the campus map, that campus blueprint. What's the purpose? Who are you teaching it to? What is it they need to learn? What is the best way to deliver it? And if you can do that, you can build a real thriving education business. If you get all over the place and you just focus on one thing, say courses, or one thing saying coaching, that's something that I don't know if it's viable long term. So those are kind of the things you want to think about, but have some fun doing it. And, the last thing I say, if you're building a campus and you're building an education business, Start building it now. It doesn't have to be perfect. And don't get hung up on having everything so super professional that you can't let people see it until some point in the future when you're comfortable with it. Get your content out as quickly as possible in as many places as possible to get your audience into your community where you can start interacting and having fun with them. So hope you enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun for me. I love doing this stuff. If you haven't already, make sure to go to trainingsites.io/join the community. Free to join. And I will show you one thing because I forgot about it. If there's stuff that you want to see or stuff that you would just absolutely love to learn about, one of the other things that Fluent Bookings does, and I'll pull this up for you, is if you're on the campus and in the community, if you look in the bottom left, there's one that says suggestions here. So when you're there, there's also affiliates, which I didn't talk about. It's kind of not turned on perfectly yet, but it's there. If you click on suggestions, you'll see that I have a place for a public roadmap and suggestions. Now, I haven't focused on this at all, but if there's stuff that you want to see, submit an idea. If it's a course, a topic you want, if you have any part of a site or anything added to the community, whether it be a group or anything like that, just go and submit an idea and we'll start playing around with it and figure out what's best and what's not best. Yeah, so the campus, the other thing, I got lots here. There's classes, modern event calendar is here for these ones. This can also be hooked up to WooCommerce, and I will show you one last thing, which is Better Docs. We'll go back to that, which houses all the prompts and stuff that I've been putting together with these ones. Just so that you see it if you haven't run into it before. One of those ones, I got so much stuff in my head trying to get it out, keep it organized. It's not the easiest thing in the world. There's the prompt library that's here and available if you want to find out some of the prompts I've been using and play around with. This screen hasn't been keeping up with me, so I apologize for that. There's the docs. That's in prompt library on the left. There we go. Prompt library there on the left. Again, it's not showing up for me, which is unfortunate. So I'll try and do another video just to update stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, having fun with this. Thanks for joining up. Like and subscribe to the channel. Video will be out this afternoon, the one that I did this morning, and I do another one probably tomorrow. Anything you want to learn about starting, building an education business, let me know and I'll do some stuff with it. So thanks again. Take care and expect the best.